Hey everybody, so this is the first episode of the Toyota Supra should have came with the V8 from the factory show. Just kidding. So what we're doing right now is, or for the next couple of months, is we're going to turn this Toyota Supra, which is just a rolling shell right now, into a Formula D car. It's going to have a ls7. And right now, it looks like it's got twin turbos. I just got the headers off eBay, and they're super affordable, $200. It's actually made by a really reputable company, and the welds inside are really excellent. So it looks like a very affordable manifold setup. And yeah, so this is, hopefully by the time the car is done, it's gonna make about 1,000 horsepower at the wheel. That's my dream. And I can show you guys the build process, or my build process from start and finish. Me personally, I don't have any like super duper training in terms of automotive stuff. I just basically learned myself. The first time I started working on a car was when I was like, I think when I was 19, my mom went in for an oil change for her Volvo. And she came back with like a $900 bill, right? It was like a timing belt job, the whole shebang. But now that I'm looking at it, it's probably about time. The car had like 80,000 miles, so it's time for a timing belt. And at that time, I was like, what the hell? We didn't have a lot of money to begin with. So my mom going in for a oil change and coming home with like a $900 bill, that was pretty crazy. And at that point, I was like, hey, you know what? Instead of my mom getting ripped, she's a little, well, she's not little, but she's an Asian woman. So sometimes they get taken advantage of, especially at the dealerships. So at that point I was like, hey mom, I got the car, I'm going to start learning to do the oil change, starting to do the brakes, that kind of stuff. So I started really simple, just changing oil and then doing and then changing out the spark plugs and then doing the air filter. So like really basic stuff. I think that's how everybody starts, right? Start out from the basics, foundations, and then build on that. So it's been a while since I started doing that. And I just kind of had a lot of hands-on experience. I didn't have any special school training. I did go to Pierce College for a motor class, which Tom Fortune I think he was teaching the motor class out at Pierce. This was a long time ago. And that was the one thing that I thought that I needed some education on. So I took the motor class and they showed me how to tear apart the motor, put it back together, hone and bore and all that stuff, how to measure bearings, assemble the motor. So that was the one part I got a little bit of help from school, but everything else I learned in terms of MIG, TIG, welding, tuning, fabricating the cages, everything's learned on YouTube or just hands-on experience. And I think if there is a personification of the concept that you can learn everything that you ever wanted to know about a car, as long as you want to put your mind to it and are not afraid to just give it a try, right? Because if you break your car or if you F something up, it's okay. The worst thing you can do is take it to a mechanic and they'll fix it, right? So you still have to pay them. But if you do fix it and you get away with it, most of the stuff on the cars are really easy, and you'll save money, you'll learn a lot, and you can help your friends out or help your family out, save a little bit of money. So back to the Toyota Supra. This Supra I picked up probably about 4 or 5 years ago. It was just a shell at the time. It was missing a lot of pieces. Of missing the brakes and the steering rack and the rear end. So I had to gut my own personal Supra to make this one run, and it was super heartbreaking that my car has been down for a long, long time, but that sacrifices, right? So a couple years ago, I had a LS8 with a supercharger in here and with the dog box, and I put a cage in there. The cage I built, and it's actually, hey, Vegas Drift. It was actually a NASCAR style cage. So it's got some pretty radical bars, and it's super close to the door. And it's actually really easy to get in and out of. So I really liked building the cage for this car. And it was running really, really well, but I needed the motor for my 240 so I can go run Pro-Am. And so I pulled it out and never put anything back into this car. Right now, we're gonna put a ls7 twin turbo and dog box quick change we're in, and we're gonna bring this car to FD. So stay tuned, subscribe above, any questions below.